The police lights flashed red and blue against the peeling white paint of Daniel Hart's tiny front porch. The rain was coming down hard, soaking the young woman standing beside him. She was shivering, not just from the cold, but from something deeper. One officer stepped forward, his voice cold. "Sir, do you have any idea who this girl is?" Daniel swallowed hard. No, she just needed a place to stay for the night. The officer exchanged a tense look with his partner. "That girl is the missing daughter of—" He hesitated, as if even saying the name was dangerous. "Billionaire Richard Hayes. But here's the thing. Daniel had no idea that letting her in that night would change his life forever. Before we dive into how this all unfolded and the shocking truth that was hiding in plain sight, hit the like button and subscribe to the Soul Narrative, because you're about to hear a story that will stay with you long after it ends." The night she knocked Daniel Hart wasn't the kind of man who had much left to give. At 38, his life had been stripped down to its bare bones: 2 jobs, a crumbling rental house in the outskirts of Portland, and a 9-year-old daughter named Emily, who was the only reason he kept going. His wife had left 5 years ago, chasing a new life in California. She hadn't looked back. On that stormy Tuesday night, Daniel was folding laundry when the knock came. It was soft at first, hesitant, but it carried a strange urgency that made him put down the clothes and check the door. When he opened it, he saw her, a young woman, maybe 20, her hair plastered to her face, her jeans soaked through, her backpack sagging with water. She looked exhausted, eyes darting like she'd been running from something. "I'm sorry. I just need somewhere to stay, just for tonight." Daniel's first thought was no. His life was already hard enough, but something in her voice, fragile, cracking, made him hesitate. Emily appeared in the hallway, rubbing her eyes, and asked, "Dad, who's that?" The girl's lips trembled. "My name's Claire." Daniel sighed. "Fine. One night. Couch only." The hours after were filled with strange quiet. Claire barely spoke over dinner, answering Emily's curious questions with short, vague replies. She said she had trouble at home, but didn't explain more. Later, Daniel noticed little things. She kept glancing at the front window, as if expecting someone. She flinched when a car drove by. And she never let go of the small leather pendant around her neck, clutching it like it was the only thing keeping her steady. When Emily went to bed, Daniel tried to ask more questions. Claire only said, "Sometimes, people think they know you, but they don't know anything at all." That night, Daniel barely slept. Something about Claire felt off, not dangerous exactly, but as if she was carrying a story too big for her shoulders. Around 3 a.m., he heard her sobbing quietly in the living room. He almost went to check on her, but stopped. He remembered what it felt like to have the world crash down. You didn't always want witnesses for that. The truth that walked through the door morning came gray and cold. Daniel made pancakes for Emily, and Claire shyly joined them. It was the first time he saw her smile, a small, fleeting thing, but real. He drove Emily to school, and when he came back, he found Claire sitting on the couch, staring at her phone like it was a ticking bomb. "Do you need me to drop you somewhere?" Daniel asked. She looked at him with wide, almost fearful eyes. "Can I stay? Just until tonight?" Daniel hesitated. Every instinct told him this was complicated, but he remembered how Emily had laughed over breakfast, how Claire had actually joined in. Against his better judgment, he agreed. The knock came at 2 p.m., loud, heavy. When Daniel opened the door, 2 police officers stood there. "Sir, we're looking for Claire Hayes." Daniel froze. He turned slowly toward the couch, empty. Claire had slipped into the kitchen. The officers stepped inside without waiting for permission. One officer caught sight of her instantly. "Claire Hayes, you've been reported missing by your father." Daniel's head snapped toward her. "Your father?" Claire's voice was trembling. "It's not what you think." But the officer cut in. "Her father is Richard Hayes. The Richard Hayes, net worth $2.7 billion. Daniel was stunned. The girl who had slept on his couch, eaten pancakes at his table, was the daughter of one of the richest men in the country. The police explained she had run away after a public fight with her father. The media had been buzzing about her disappearance for days, but Daniel hadn't been paying attention. Between work and Emily, the world outside barely existed. Claire looked at him, eyes wet. I didn't run away because I'm spoiled. I ran because he treats me like property, like a pawn for his business deals. I just wanted one night where I was safe, where someone was kind without wanting anything. Her voice broke. And you gave me that. The officers insisted she come with them, but before leaving, she pulled off the pendant around her neck and pressed it into Daniel's hand. For Emily, tell her. I'll never forget breakfast. 3 months later, Daniel came home to find a black SUV parked outside. A man in a suit handed him an envelope and left without a word. Inside was a letter, written in careful, looping script. Daniel, I'm back home now. Things are different. My father and I are talking, but I'll never forget the night you let me in. I wanted you to have this, not as payment, but as thanks for reminding me there are still people who help because it's right, not because they want something. The enclosed check is for Emily's college fund. I hope it gives her the kind of chance you gave me. Claire, inside the envelope was a check for $150. Daniel stared at it, tears blurring his vision. For the first time in years, he felt the crushing weight on his chest lift, just a little, and that's when he realized, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can ripple into a lifetime of change. You never know who's on the other side of your door, or how much they might need you. If this story touched you, hit the like button and subscribe to The Soul Narrative for more powerful stories that remind us what it means to be human.